Hi, thanks for joining us as we wrap up another week of February here at Your News Today, this time on the 17th day of the month. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood, as I love to say as often as I can. Temperatures a little chilly at the start, warming up nicely. Yeah, that trend is going to roll right on, and we are going to be in, we've known it for days, a spring-like forecast. Without a doubt, Monday I would call the pick of the litter. 70 and sunny. We've got warm air throughout all of the forecast period, above average certainly, but that's the one with no clouds, no rain. There are a few chances of some showers throughout the forecast, but it is all spring-like without a doubt. Not necessarily that spring is here for good, but for now, at least. I'll outline it in more detail in just a few moments. My camera was the only one rolling today as we tagged along with the Johnson County Sheriff's Department executing several indictment warrants. Those warrants, a portion of 21, which were returned by a sitting Johnson County grand jury. And not all of the cases today centered around those indictments. Actually, an eviction notice led to a methamphetamine case which has now been opened. We'll go through all the indictments and all of those happenings today in just a few moments. In basketball news, it's just hard to imagine, but the 57th District Tournament tips off in McGoffin County this coming Monday night. So tonight, we've already been covering the games and scores and all of that information. Tonight we'll talk about tickets and parking and seating and everything you need to know and when you might want to be there to catch your team starting early next week. And with his appeal denied some time ago, it now doesn't look very favorable that former Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley's request to have his conviction set aside will be granted. I'll tell you what I can on that note in just a few moments and a whole lot of other news and information. And I'll also be giving you a heads up as to what we already have on tap for the first of next week. But we'll begin tonight with our top headline, and that is taking you to Johnson County, where I did tag along today with the Johnson County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Price and his men out executing several indictment warrants. As I said, several of which were a portion of a larger number of 21 returned this week by a sitting Johnson County grand jury. Part of the 21 indictments returned this week by the Johnson County grand jury were those of several individuals facing charges, at least 6 individuals wanted by the Johnson County Sheriff's Department on drug trafficking and related charges by the Sheriff's Office, who went searching for those individuals armed with video and audio evidence against most, if not all, of those that they were searching for. Video and audio captured during alleged buys. The Sheriff's Department went to several residences and locations, picking up a William Spears, 67 years of age, as well as a 43-year-old Tammy Dorton, who were each charged with complicity to trafficking a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school, as well as being in complicity with a Joanne Boland, who faces the same charges. And the day also netted some other charges. In one case in particular, an eviction notice in hand served at a Vern Horn apartment off 460 led to a meth seizure and a case that will more than likely go before the grand jury.
This investigation that we're conducting a roundup on today probably took anywhere from a year and a half, various parts of the county. Actually, at this apartment here, we've had a lot of complaints of maybe some meth being sold or manufactured here. We were serving an eviction notice in between all of our roundup suspects in this apartment. And the guy that occupies the apartment, I guess he had some kind of medical condition while we were in there. And he fell back on the couch wanting us to get him an ambulance, and that basically fell out of his pocket. A bottle that contains quite a bit of crystal meth, and it actually has some large pieces of ice. So he's basically telling us that he can't stay alive without it. And that's it is what it is when you get inside. You never know what you're going to run into. So this worked out good for us. Hopefully we can get him some help, because he obviously needs it.
Help getting off of what the sheriff and his department believes was a high-grade form of crystal meth, one that they are becoming all too familiar with.
It looks like, by looking at the substance, it looks like the same stuff that's been coming out of London and Columbus, Ohio. It's in rock form. Most of what you see manufactured around here homemade is kind of like a brown powdery type substance. But this kind of looks like crystal ice. and we'll send it off to the lab, and we'll go from there.
Sheriff Price and his department says that as soon as they made entry into the apartment, the suspect in question then stated that he was having some sort of a medical emergency and therefore he wasn't charged today, but that doesn't mean that charges aren't forthcoming.
He's not going to be charged today. He had what was either apparent heart attack or some kind of distress when we made contact with him, and he's left in an ambulance, so the case will be presented to the grand jury.
The individual was identified to me by residents as a Don Ramey, who had been living at that apartment for some time. In other indictments, 51-year-old Andrew Stephen Brown of Grethel and a 41-year-old Harold woman, Melinda Stewart, were both indicted on charges of complicity of possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, while Brown was also indicted on a count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia. 42-year-old Rhonda Curtis of Painesville was indicted on charges of theft by unlawful taking under $500, specifically for shoplifting, as well as possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. These four individuals, 25-year-old Diana Gatewood of Painesville, 26-year-old Jimmy Hinkle of Williamsport, 40-year-old Benny McKenzie of Painesville, and 31-year-old Audrey Helton of Sagersville were each indicted on charges of bail jumping in the first degree. Mason K. Maynard, 25, of Hager Hill, was indicted on account of trafficking in a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school, as well as trafficking in a controlled substance less than 10 dosage units in the first degree. This Sagersville man, 24-year-old Lance Puckett, was indicted on several charges: theft of unlawful taking under $10,000, criminal mischief in the third degree, and criminal possession of a forged instrument, also in the third. 46-year-old Elias Stacy, said to be from Inez, was indicted on a count of promoting contraband in the first degree and faces up to 5 years in prison. 32-year-old Daniel E. Bell of Painesville was indicted on wanton endangerment in the first degree, criminal trespassing in the second, and for his prior felony convictions. He was also indicted this time around on being a persistent felony offender. 31-year-old Andrew Tiny Dorton of Painesville was indicted on a count of trafficking in a controlled substance less than 10 dosage units in the first degree and faces up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Two Painesville men, 24 and 26-year-old Kenneth Sammons and Ronald Sammons, were each indicted on charges of burglary in the second degree. And mother and son, 50-year-old Ronnie H. Webb and 31-year-old Arthur Shane Webb, the mother having a Van Leer address, the son having one from Prestonsburg, were each indicted in complicity with robbery, burglary, and assault charges. That's robbery in the first degree, burglary in the first, and assault in the first degree. They face up to 20 years in prison for the home invasion and attack on Wallace Conley of Conley Tire in Staffordsville. 43-year-old Mealy resident Mark Fannin was indicted on charges of trafficking in a controlled substance in the second degree, while Big Sandy jail records also show him jailed on 2 counts of assault in the first degree as well. He's been incarcerated in the jail since January the 19th. Also on a charge of first offense DUI. I also have an indictment, just not an accompanying photograph, of an indictment against 47-year-old Joanne Bolden of Painesville, charged with several counts of trafficking in a controlled substance. Bolden faces counts of trafficking in a controlled substance less than 10 dosage units in the first degree, 2 counts of trafficking in a controlled substance in the second degree, less than 20 doses, also trafficking in a controlled substance in the first degree first offense, and 2 counts of trafficking in a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school. That was also in complicity with the 2 individuals who were netted today that I showed you out in the field, William E. Spears and Tammy Dorton. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. As I referred to at the top of the program, with his appeal denied in June of 2015, it now doesn't look very favorable, at least I think we can say, that former Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley's request to have his conviction set aside will be granted. It wasn't the federal judge that will make the final decision, but another United States federal judge, which has made a recommendation to him to deny former Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley's request to have his conviction set aside. U.S. Magistrate Judge Robert Weir has rejected Conley's arguments in a decision that he filed just yesterday. In doing so, he recommended to U.S. Judge Gregory Van Tatenhoff that he reject the request. And Tatenhoff will make the final judgment. He doesn't have to accept the recommendation of Judge Weir, but in this case or instance, judges often do. Weir also made a recommendation in his filing that if Van Tatenhoff were to take these findings as his own, that he also issue a certificate that says that Conley can appeal his decision. Conley has been in jail shortly thereafter, pleading guilty back in August of 2014 to taking at least $130,000 in kickbacks from a Sagersville bridge contractor after rigging those bids, which were submitted to the Morgan County Fiscal Court. Van Tatenhoff is actually the same judge who sentenced Conley to 7 years and about 3 months in prison back in January of 2015. Now, in doing so, Conley agreed not to appeal his case for an agreement with the judge and prosecutors, but you may recall that he later did so anyway. His argument was that he didn't fully understand the elements of the mail fraud charge in which he had pled guilty. And of course, the appeal that he requested was officially denied back in June of 2015. Your calendar starts off with a birthday wish, followed by some other announcements in just a few moments. But right now, several to add to that, and some of which will also give you a glimpse as to what you can expect to see here on the program early next week. First, from our friends Joe Carroll and everyone at Stinson United Baptist Church, they want me to pass along to you that James Buddy McKenzie will be the guest minister at Stinson United Baptist this Sunday. Services, of course, starting at 11, and you now have an invitation to join them. And we've just learned that the Harold Whitaker Middle School Site-Based Decision-Making Council has a special meeting set for this coming Monday, 3:30 in the afternoon. So this is my first and only chance to tell you of that. And what's coming up at the first of next week? Well, I'll be venturing to Frankfort tomorrow to the Convention Center to follow the McGoffin County dance team to state. I'll have a report on that. And early next week as well, you can expect a report and coverage on the 6 o'clock Monday special session of the McGoffin County Fiscal Court, which has been called, and your Sagersville City Council meeting has also been set for this Monday at 6 as well. And I'm already contemplating how I'll pull all that off. But I'm getting better at being in more than one place at one time with 18 years of trying. Other announcements per your McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar start off with this special birthday wish. Now, I just don't know how much cuteness some of you folks think we can stand, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty much at our limit. Yeah, check that face out. Happy birthday, I believe a third birthday if I'm not mistaken, to this young man, Jackson, from your mommy and daddy and sissy, mama and papa and ma. Happy birthday to Jackson. Happy birthday to you. A reminder to find out more about the Senior Employment Program for those 55 and older for a little part-time employment. Call 349-2217, your local office of the Big Sandy Area Community Action Program here in McGoffin County and Sagersville. The Water into Wine Food Pantry will be back at it. Senior Day is Tuesday of next week, 8:30 till noon. The regular day of distribution for the month will be Wednesday, 8:30 till 3. If you're picking up items for someone else, be sure and bring a signed note and their pantry card. Also coming up early next week, the Alzheimer's Association and the Extension Office presenting a legal and financial planning program. That's Tuesday of next week from 11 till noon, just an hour, but you need to register, and all you have to do is call the toll-free number at the bottom of your screen to do so, 800-272-3900. This is free, and for anyone out there who may have Alzheimer's or knows or loves someone who is dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia. And remember to call me anytime you've got a birthday, anniversary, or an announcement like you just heard. Or Mail, email, Facebook, phone, fax, drop it off. I don't care how you get it. All you have to do is get it here, and I'll tell everyone about it for free. Turning to funeral service announcements, this Friday, graveside services are going to be held tomorrow at 1 for Maddox Parker Little Bear Howard, infant son of Jonathan and Amy Bailey Howard, who passed away on Tuesday. Besides his parents, he's survived by brother Bentley Connor Howard. Services will be at the Minix Montgomery Cemetery at Craft Creek. 59-year-old Judy Stevens Rudd of Sagersville passed away yesterday, survived by sons Scotty and Ricky Arnott and her daughter Crystal Rudd. Visitation is going to be after 6 o'clock this Sunday and after 10 o'clock on Monday, and then prior to those services, which will start Tuesday morning at 11. Visitation and services from the Sagersville Funeral Home. Once again, for 59-year-old Judy Stevens Rudd of Sagersville. Well, I've spent the past many weeks covering games and scores and schedules and all that for the regular season at least is over and behind us. And now it's on to district tournament play, which tips off this Monday night for the 57th district here in Magoffin County at the new high school. And a new venue means a new way of doing things. So tonight, let's not necessarily talk too much about the games that have led up to this point, but tickets and seats and parking and such.
The first parking lot we're going to do is the parking lot right in front of the school. Once we get it filled, we'll go to the one to the left, the one closest to the parkway, and then after that we'll start moving vehicles behind the building. Not only will we park behind the building, we'll park across the river on the other side, and even up on the football field, and even behind the football field where we park during football games. All during the tournament we'll have shuttle buses here. Shuttle buses will be here at 5 o'clock on Monday because we got early start at 6. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll have a shuttle bus here at 5:15, and shuttle buses will run until the last person has been delivered to their vehicle.
Now, as for tickets, there are still plenty of reserved seating tickets left for Monday night's girls' games. That's the Lady Tigers and Lady Hornets at 6, and then the Lady Eagles and Lady Cardinals at 7:45. Each school gets 162 reserved seating tickets to sell to their fans and staff and students. And there are still some, as I said, left for Monday night's girls' games. However, for the Magoffin County boys' game, Wes says that those tickets are already sold out, but that there are plenty of other seats, of course, obviously, in the new gymnasium.
Just reserved seating. I mean, you can any game you want to come to, you can come to. You can get in. It's $5 admission, as long as that's for students that are in school. If students are not, if it's a kid that's not in school, we're not charging them at all.
So once again, that's girls action tipping off at 6 o'clock Monday night, Paintsville and Magoffin County, and then Central and Sheldon Clark in the second game of the evening, the only night where there will be more than one game, and the second girls game set to tip off right around 7:45. Tuesday night, you've got a crosstown rivalry making its way to Magoffin County. That's right, Central and Paintsville will tip off at 7 o'clock. And then Magoffin County and Sheldon Clark will go back at it in a rematch that we hope will be just as exciting, just not with the same ending. That game also due to tip off or set to tip off at 7 o'clock. Then, of course, the girls' championship will be Thursday night at 7, and the boys will be Friday night at 7 o'clock. My one suggestion right now would be, if you're going to get to one of these games, get there early. And on a related note, we now have the names, as they have just been released today, for candidates for Kentucky's Mr. and Miss Basketball. And to possibly no surprise, you'll find a Magoffin County name on there out of the 15th region. A total of 20 young men and 18 young ladies have been named as the finalists to Kentucky's Mr. and Miss Basketball Awards. The Kentucky Lions Eye Foundation and the Kentucky Association of Basketball Coaches announced today. This is, of course, a preliminary to all the nominees being invited to the Basketball Awards ceremony on March the 14th in Lexington. Coaches and media members have until February the 24th, I believe it is, to submit their final votes for the award. The finalists include all players who were named Player of the Year by the KBC in their respective regions. And in regions close to ours, specifically ours, for Mr. Basketball in the 15th region, you've got Timmy Dalton out of Lawrence County and Trenton Russell, seen here, out of Magafa County. Miss Basketball, by the way, out of the 15th region, Allie Mae out of Johnson Central. All right, one of the last points of order tonight, your Licking Valley RECC Outlook, which has us right now at 62. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's a good laugh. It's a wonderful thing. 62 degrees right now and falling at the end of the early show. We should bottom out at a very comfortable 44 degrees tonight under mostly clear skies and a southwest wind. It's been 5 to 7. I actually clocked one at 9 a while ago. Right now, 2 miles an hour at the most. Tomorrow, back to where we were roughly today, but with more clouds. I think 62 and mostly cloudy for your Saturday. Now, that's also accompanied by a chance of some showers. Right now, I'm going to call it 40% after 1 o'clock tomorrow, then a 50% chance of showers throughout the rest of the evening and overnight. Not a major rainmaker. You may be a quarter of an inch at the most, I think, for most everyone, but a chance of some showers that should be gone by at least 6 or 7 o'clock Sunday morning. So the latter half of your weekend, definitely the better of the two. 65, partly sunny for your Sunday. A few clouds that night, but temperatures for nighttime lows still in the 40s. And for President's Day from the National Weather Service, near 70 degrees for Monday. Monday, definitely, as I said earlier, the pick of the litter, in my opinion. It's going to be a gorgeous day. I hope you have that day off. I don't. It's going to be hard to be in here and be in the edit room all day without any windows, but that's where I'll be. But 69 and sunny, mid to maybe even upper 40s for nighttime lows, and the near 70-degree mark will stick around through Tuesday of next week. We've got another system that rolls in with that warm air still in place on Tuesday. We've got another chance of some showers, mostly cloudy skies Tuesday as well, and a 50% chance of some showers. Wednesday of next week, some sun and maybe a few light showers, 66. I mean, still holding on to 66 by Thursday of next week too. That's going to do it for tonight. Once again, City Council, Fiscal Court, dance competition from the state over the course of the weekend, and a whole lot of other news and information that I'm already working on, and I'm not even out of here for this Friday, but I'm seconds away. Thank you for being a part of the program tonight. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here next week for another week of full and exclusive, for the most part, news and information that you can't find anywhere else. Good night, and thanks for watching.